All right, we are back. Another recorded episode. We're doing this one on Monday morning. We'll drop it on Wednesday evening. Danny is here,
I am.
ready to go viral again with his hot takes, lukewarm puke out takes. Daniel, welcome.
I'm already pissed at you this morning, so I think you're doing that on purpose just to get me going.
I did, thank you. Danny is also not Danny. Joe's here, and then we get
Oh,
the.
Yep.
You know what's sad? I don't know the name of their show. The Ballcard Show, baseball
That
card
yep.
show,
That is
Ballcard
correct.
Show. Okay, so I think
Mhm.
Jason. I know Jason is joining. I don't know if Jason and Gary are both joining. Rebecca said somebody's already in the waiting room. We're gonna make them sweat. I told them 11:15. So, yeah, they sent me that meme that I showed Danny the other day. Although apparently they'd already sent you. Danny is the content czar. So you
Yeah.
talk to these guys?
I have never met them. Um, don't know who they are. Quite frankly, nothing rude.
I thought
I
you spoke to them.
I DM them afterwards and introduce myself. Anytime somebody makes a meme out of me, they spend some time on that, and I thought I should introduce myself.
I mean, I thought it was a pretty good meme, quite frankly. Okay.
I don't know why people go with that spelling of the word czar. Like there is two spellings of it. You can go with the T that starts it, but some people go with the CZ. Like there's a spelling, Danny, with a T. Yes, there is.
Well, let
For
me just
czar.
just so
Yes.
the audience can see a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah.
That was the photo that was released. It
Yeah.
got sent to me. But
Yep.
see, after I talked to Jason, he's like, "No, we already talked to Danny." He kind of walked back the take because then you came out with an actual good take last week, so it wasn't really much of a story. But I actually like those guys too. I think they set up a lot of live shows.
And I am more than okay with them making fun of me. I can be.
I don't think they were
soft.
making fun. I think they were poking fun.
Oh, I'm fine with that. Absolutely, good for them.
Oh
All
boy.
good.
Oh boy.
Okay. Sensitive Steven.
Yep. Yep.
We do have
This is depressed. We got depressed Danny in the chat today and Jolly Joe because Joe gets
Thank you.
happier when
You
Danny
know
gets
what?
upset.
Let's change that. Come on.
Here we
Joe.
go. All right, go ahead. Where do you want to start? After that rousing
I wanted to
intro we had
start
today.
with my wife giving a fact check during the
Oh,
live
good.
show
Another
last week, and with me being accurate yet again.
Phoenix,
Not
fifth
only
largest city in
sports,
America.
but also geography. So we were fact checked. We are the fifth largest in Phoenix, so that's fantastic. The other thing that we can get to before we get into hobby stuff, because it ultimately does kind of bridge a little bit of the hobby, but Lane Kiffin, right? You deliver your team to the college football playoffs. I mean, they're a 99% chance. LSU, you also have a court case this past week where you were found to fire Brian Kelly without cause, and you're on the hook for 50 plus million dollars. Now, again, this is a state school, Mike, so public record.
Nice.
Now you're going to offer Lane Kiffin 7 years, over 100 million, and here's the kicker: $25 million a year guaranteed that he's able to use for NIL for the football program yearly.
Pay the kids. That's what I
Doesn't
always
that
say.
get you one player on the basketball team at BYU?
Oh, well,
That's fine. Pay him.
but
Good.
it opens the transfer, the whole portal opens January 2nd. Here's the other thing. I'm kind of like, what are you thinking? He had the nerve to try to negotiate being able to coach them through the college football playoffs. Hey, I'm leaving you guys, but I believe in you guys. It's not going to happen. But what was great was Ole Miss. They're just saying, hey, your D coordinator, he's going to be the head coach, and he's locked in. He's going to be your new head coach going forward. We're not playing this game where we're trying to find coaches. We're going to keep consistency, and we're going to go forward. I think this is going to be great for college football. I think this is going to be great for Ole Miss. And Mike and Danny, I'd love to hear your take. It was laid out to them. You could go to LSU and have unlimited money to spend, or you can go down in the lore of football history in Mississippi. You already this year, first team ever to have 11 wins ever in any sport there, or any football, excuse me. And now you had a chance to win the national championship there, and then you would be in the history books forever in the state of Mississippi. But now you're jumping ship again, and this guy has a history. Remember, he was on the tarmac for USC when he left USC, and then I think he went to the Raiders, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear what you guys think. I know we have some college football guys out there that listen and gals. So, what do you think? I mean, $100 million to coach college football with $25 million to spend on your program. It's tempting.
What did Gio just say? Good for the players for getting the money? Why should the
Pay the
coaches
kids.
not? Yeah, but why should
Who
the coaches
cares?
be any different?
College is a sham, anyways. What are those kids going to Louisiana for? You should be paid
Win
to live in that
championships.
state. Yeah, fantastic. That's
I
my
think
reaction.
LSU is considered a bigger program.
Yeah, it is a big time program. But guys,
Baton Rouge.
honestly, that's a ton of money to
Good
give
for
to
him.
a coach and then to be able to infuse into your program. I know
Fantastic.
you. So here's
I'm
the thing.
pumped.
No, you're.
How much more
you're
happy
being
do you
a
want me to get?
scumbag here. You're being a scumbag.
How much
because-
happier should I get?
No.
I insulted
No.
Danny. We talked about your wife, and now we're talking college football coaching.
If that's not the
I'm
trifecta,
pumped
I don't know
about
what
the
it
hobby,
is.
dude.
No, you're. See, here's the problem. You're
Sensitive Joe.
Big market Mike. Big market Mike.
Sensitive Joe.
Hey, we're the Red Sox. We'll just spend $100 million on some guy, and we'll use him for 2 weeks, and then we'll toss him to the Wolves. Like,
I'm fine with that. I thought there was some sort of, maybe Emily can fact check you later on what this has to do with anything anybody would care about talking about. Lane Kiffin's contract. Is how we're opening the show.
yeah, 100%. Because
What's
guess
wrong with
what?
that headband?
No, guess what? So now you're going to be nonchalant about this, but
I'm
when
not nonchalant.
LSU,
I don't care. That is as chalant as I can get.
dude. Okay, I hope you like all your players to be coming into the NFL, being
SEC,
paid
baby.
from one school.
Ooh.
Dude,
Are they
it's not
SEC?
going to be good.
Is
It's
LSU
not
still
going to be
SEC?
good.
LSU's SEC.
Still
Yeah.
SEC? Yeah, SEC Nation. Roll Tide. That's what I say here in Tennessee. And go Orange. Is it Orange?
The volunteer, they're SEC.
Yeah, Big Orange.
Yeah,
Roll
SEC,
Orange.
where if
Volunteers.
you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Roll Big Orange. That's what I would say.
Joe, you know that's true in the SEC.
My
If you're not
volunteer
cheating, you're
state,
not
baby.
trying.
Roll Big Orange.
Here-
I'm happy for
here's
you.
the
Joe.
other
I don't-
thing. Here's the other
Yes.
thing with college football, which I know you guys don't follow because you guys have your head under rocks.
Are we doing the Harry's Razor read on this show? Because I could work it in right now.
You could do the Harry's Razor.
Rebecca, are we
Razor
doing a
reads.
read on this show or no? Is that just a podcast?
It should.
Shave Joe's head for this
I
terrible
really don't
opening
know.
stuff.
I think it's just your other show.
Oh, Harry, you want another read? We'll
Oh.
shave Joe's head with a Harry's razor right now on there.
That's fine. You know what? Put it on the
just
other
gonna
show
talk
where
about-
they're talking about Star Wars figurines, and we're trying to have real talk over here. Here we go. So also, Cal upsets SMU, which now sends a 5 or 6 loss Duke team to their conference championship game. Guys, we're talking about guys who we're going to be seeing this next year on Sundays. And I know you guys could care less about college football, but it was a
I
huge
don't know who we're
weekend.
talking about. Who are we talking about? Guys,
We're talking about the ACC, Danny's neck of the woods over there, the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Well, no.
just
Since
being
they redid the
trash.
conferences, nothing makes sense. We're in the Big Ten with
Well, I know you are, but your neck of the
UCLA,
woods,
USC.
buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, raise your hand if you're the closest to the Atlantic Coast. Raise your hand. There we
I feel
go.
like Elaine. It's 3 a.m.
I
I'm
got
at a
two number ones
cockfight
for you.
arguing about SMU and LSU with
All right,
ACC.
let's
Danny.
talk about something more interesting. Shedeur Sanders goes
And you
out
have to
there and does
ask
something.
yourself, what am I doing with my life? You know, it's just questions. It's just questions I have. That's okay.
There we go.
Well, yeah, let's hear your take. You are the quarterback whisperer over there, Joe. You and Danny, what's the Shedeur take?
Yeah.
So my take
Please.
is if it's fourth down and 25 and you do a 5-yard scramble and you slide that's your only chance to score, you're having an
preservation.
argument with Jerry Jeudy on the sideline. Dude, I get you could be a great talented quarterback, but you got to have a little humility. This was a great week that you could see there was buzz in the hobby. People were starting to pick up his stuff. People
Because
were
he
getting
showed
the
some
Phoenix.
signs. To be fair, last week there was a couple plays at least showed you signs of, maybe. Like, I think there was a little bit of hope.
Dude,
Yes.
it's all talk.
That's fine. I'm not saying it's not all talk. I'm saying, but there was hope. You saw last week he made a couple even a couple bad drops. And it was like, oh, well, wait a second. Maybe this is a team that might make a little noise.
Is he
Maybe
at
the
his
kid's gonna
draft
be okay.
price yet?
Say it again.
Is he at where his draft prices were?
He doesn't. That's a tough. I'll share my screen. He doesn't have a lot of stuff. That is really the big issue with him.
Sure.
'Cause
Well, that's
he
why
is-
Joe says Bowman you.
Well, because he's a Panini exclusive for Pro, which I'm still not entirely sure how all that works. He is exclusive with Panini for anything in the Browns uniform. Of course, there's no licensing and there's no 2025 football with Topps anyway. So the only stuff he has is like Bowman's best. He went to Colorado with his dad, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah, so
I mean,
here's
he's
the
got
thing,
mosaic stuff there, yeah.
Yeah, Panini. He's got all his Panini stuff. So like you're saying, like a best auto. Bowman's best is one of the big college autos, right? Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
there's your pricing. Why don't you tell me? You're the college
Yeah.
whisperer, for God's sake.
I
You
mean,
whisper the quarterbacks, population.
That was
best is
before this
okay, but
weekend.
it's gonna always be Chrome, like his Chrome
Chrome.
first. That's the stuff
All
that
right,
you're looking
sweetheart.
for.
I'll put Chrome in
Yeah.
here. Hang on. Look at that.
But
We can
best will
type in
give you
more
like
than one.
patch autos and that kind of stuff. But
So we're going back to best. Okay.
no,
Here
you can see
go.
the price is better here. The price is better for Chrome. So
So like I want to get some comparable, like some absolute. So like a PSA 10. One sold, just a base auto PSA 10 2023 Bowman Chrome University, Shedeur Sanders, 180 2 days ago. Before that, is that the same card? 330?
No,
Dang. So I do wonder, was the hype just that much more? Yeah, look at this, dude. That's the same card, 330
that's a
bucks.
week ago.
That's before so the 24th was that was right after his last start. Like I said, I think people. So yeah, I feel like
and the people selling are gonna say, well, he played the 49ers and this and that. But if you watch the actual game, like the Browns, they're the Browns. Yes, they have a decent rushing attack, and the receivers aren't terrible. They're really not terrible.
the Browns rushing attack or the Niners.
The Browns have a decent rushing game.
But not when. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking defensively. I was gonna slap you in the face because
No.
Miles Garrett is unbelievable. I got you.
Correct.
Yeah, offensively they have some weapons. I agree.
100%.
Yeah, they're not terrible, and their line's been decent. I agree. I just think this goes to show you, and it's funny that it turned this quick. Like we saw this with Jackson Dart. Like things, okay, there was some hype, so we started, prices increased. And then all of a sudden we saw him. I was like, well, maybe he really can play, and they really jumped. The fact that dudes are bailing on this guy after one start like that, and I think it's way, like you said earlier, I actually think it's way more about his attitude. Even the analysts were like, oh, there's no humility, which
They said the same thing about Dion, and he's one of the best players of all time and in the
And
Hall
that's
of
the
Fame.
difference, though. Dion came out of the combine, the talent, there was no except. Like, as soon as he got on the field, he was the guy. And you're playing cornerback. You're not no one's expecting a cornerback to be the leader of a team. You are expecting your quarterback to be the leader. To come in with
Did
that
either of
attitude.
you guys watch the game?
I watched pieces
Part
of the
of it,
first
yeah.
half this week.
Okay.
I thought
So-
it was very. I thought By the way, I thought the play. I know you can do your all Madden 26 after this. I thought the coaching stinks in Cleveland. Watching that team, they do nothing. They try to make it very easy for him. It didn't seem like they tried anything useful. That's a layman's take, but it was like there was nothing going on in the offense from what I saw.
So you have about 3 seconds to make your reads as a quarterback in a quick drop, right? So you run a quick game. You don't run any crazy deep routes, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure he has enough reps or enough time reading high level defenses. He literally stared down one guy and then he would just run out of the pocket, and he would forget that these defensive linemen, they're faster than he is. 100%.
Sure. Yeah,
Like
I mean that's kind of what I saw. Like a lot of it was he had a couple decent screen passes early in the game to one or two of the running backs. But again, I can't not give him credit. He still he made the he passed the ball, but it also wasn't like this unbelievable read or anything else. I thought they dumbed the offense down for him, and I thought he was very.
That's what I've written down, Mike. You can't win a game on screen passes. I have that written down. That's all they ran for him. It was unreal.
I mean, I just thought it was
what do you
very
do
boring.
what do you do with a rookie who's had 1 week of practice time? And that's the Browns' fault. They didn't let him touch a football. They made him mop the cafeteria up until everybody else got hurt or got traded.
I mean, we had a week
Danny?
to prepare. Like that was it. I mean, he played last week, and like I said, last week though, I thought the offense actually was. They would let him throw the ball downfield a little bit. I thought last week was fairly exciting. Like he had a couple nice throws down the field. So
Did most starting quarterbacks get more practice time this offseason than he
of course.
Sensitive Steven, this is what I'd like to say is when he was in college, do you think going to school and preparing for his next week opponent, do you think he had more or less time than he does in the NFL?
Hey Joe, here's a question. How dare you? Hey, you know what is wild though? Just to show you some price comparison, that card we were just talking about last week, after one game of a tiny bit of hype, people were losing their minds, and the card was selling for $300. Drake Maye, the same card, $400.
He's incredible.
No, that's what I mean though. Like the
Sell him.
hype around new players. Sell Drake Maye now, or are you
I
selling?
told you that on Wednesday. I said these are going to be a rough next couple of weeks. A rough next couple of weeks.
I will say tonight's interesting. The Giants have a pretty good defense, and this has been a week of upsets. Dude, the Ravens get beat. You had a bunch. The Ravens got beat. The Eagles got beat. The Rams got knocked out. You had a ton of people get upset this week. So
Colts
I am.
lost.
Who? Your Colts lost at home to the Texans.
Yep.
That's another
Lions.
guy I do start to wonder about. C.J. Stroud. The Lions stink. That wasn't even an upset. The losers. All right, let's add in our guest. Let me stop sharing for a minute.
Well-
We've never done 5 before. Can we do this? Okay, good talk. Appreciate the response there. Good.
Well,
That's
in the
good.
past, I've been kicked off, so
I mean, you can leave now. You haven't added anything yet other than freaking college
I'm the
football
only one
talk
adding
and
stuff.
Lane
I'm
Kiffin.
like the stuffing of this Thanksgiving dinner. Is what
Danny
I don't
got
have
sensitive
anything
that
left.
Jason and Gary are here, and Gary has some sort of a slipper on his head. I don't know what that is. And Joe's talking about Lane Kiffin. So
Jason.
What?
You know me and my hats.
I've not seen this one. I like it. Gary, Jason.
What's up? Hey, Danny.
Don't come in.
Danny,
What's going
we're
on,
not
guys?
worthy.
Danny was.
Hey, you
obliterating
just
you
tell
the
us,
whole
man.
time.
If you go-
I'll just try to recover from Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now, Danny was killing you guys offline. So we call him Red Light Danny. Now that you're here, I think he'll
What?
be very kind. But he was
Yes.
roasting you guys when you were on.
I'm the gate.
Good. I like it. Mike, I am a professional
We've never
instigator,
done
so
5
I
people
know the
before. I have a
look. I
feeling
know
it's gonna be a
exactly
bit
what's
of a
happening.
Speak for
jumbled mess.
yourself.
But okay, all right. But we're gonna try it.
Well, we'll just fight to talk over each other and see what
That's it.
happens.
We're gonna do the raise our hand situation. The Ballcard Show. Jason and Gary are here. The meme is what got us going. I thought it was pretty funny of Danny, the content czar, which I think Danny likes. He's not letting on. I think he enjoyed that one.
I enjoyed the picture, and actually, I thought the picture was flattering.
See,
He liked
there you
it.
go. Hey, here's a question. I want to put you guys on the spot right off.
Danny, it only took 4 revisions. I mean, AI had you.
knows, Danny. Hey, right off the bat, I want to because you guys are doing content. It seems like either you guys just cut up a ton of stuff, or you're doing multiples a week. What is your schedule when you're actually putting out content? Are you doing multiple shows a week?
Either one of you, feel free.
No, we do one show a week,
Okay.
and then we cut up all the clips, and Jason schedules them out. And then through the week, we'll throw, kind of like you do, we'll just throw up reactions to things if something comes up, if something fires us up. I tend to be the rant guy. Jason's a little funnier than I am. So
Okay. Yeah, because you guys put out a bunch of stuff now. Like, it does seem like I see the full episodes, but then the stuff come out during the week. So I am curious then, just to, like I said, put you on the spot right off the bat. Hottest topic in sports cards right now. What comes to your mind? Like, what is it you're actually hearing? Because you guys are on the street a lot more than us. You're at shows. You're doing a lot more live events. What are people actually talking about right now in the hobby?
I'll jump in with the one, and then I'll let Gary jump in. One of the
Please.
biggest conversations we see, again, perspective. Gary and I are set up 40 to 45 weekends a year, traveling, selling at shows. This is how we pay our bills. We are not rich. We have worked in this enough to know it's really hard work. But what we can say is a perspective that we're hearing comes from dealers, LCS owners, buyers, collectors that we are exchanging with on a regular basis. One of the biggest conversations we're having right now is what do all of these races to 90 and 95% do to the hobby, the ecosystem, the dealers, the shows, the single market? That's one of the big
that, and then I think just
there
tends to be a really big disconnect between collectors and people walking shows and just your average person who might buy a hobby box here or there and people who actually do this for a living. And we feel pretty strongly that a lot of that is because of the preponderance of a certain type of content that's become very popular over the last 4 or 5 years that doesn't paint a very real picture of what it's like to actually try to do this for a
You're
living.
talking like the guys throwing money around. They walk in, big stacks of cash. Everything's 10xing. That type of crap we see.
Yeah, and
every new update, every new thing, everything that's happened in the last 2 years only solidifies to the moon. And guess what? We saw you guys doing this with crypto. We saw y'all doing this with sneakers. You've been in the scene for 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
there's nobody's eating humble pie. It's just this. It's such a pump. And sometimes it's a fantastic thing. Like PSA has done some things that are incredible. Like there have been some really positive things. But there's also some things where anyone that is concerned with the business end of this should be asking some questions and raising some concerns.
Well, here's my question: is it doesn't seem like neither of the two of you have taken the Eric Michael class yet.
He's
So-
live on TikTok, by the way. I apologize for scheduling the show now. I was watching before I came,
Right.
so let me just put
I
that
know
out
you
there.
guys could be sitting there learning some
going to
tips
spam.
so that you could be
we're
making
doomed.
sales
Danny's
at
on the mailing
shops
list.
and-
Not a
and
big
shows. But What I could tell you too is I love your content. Number one, you guys had a great interview with Ken last week, and it's really true. And going through being boots on the ground, brick and mortar shop, like I think that number having six figures liquid at any point to buy collections, that's a real number, and I think it's spot on. Number one. Number two, the first time I've experienced it in the shop, we actually had a buyer for one of the Arena Club, sponsor, thank you. Arena Club was in our shop buying for Pokemon and just buying graded stuff.
Like an influencer buyer or just like a regular dude?
Nope, just a regular guy who carried a bag like a Western Bandito that just had a dollar bill sign on the outside and pulled out hundreds for graded Pokemon. It was, and he was like, yeah, no, I have to buy, I can only buy certain grades. I can buy perspective raw stuff, but he had like an app that he had to take a picture to send to if it was acceptable and what it could potentially grade. He also mentioned that they've slowed down and that they're no longer using that Arena Club grading for TCG right now, which I thought was kind of, I don't know if that's breaking news or not. But I had to show him like in a mystery. Correct. Correct. I just show him my my actual marketplace on Arena Club. They were still grading Pokemon cards. So at that point they were newer grades, but dude, it's crazy. He was talking about the competitive nature out at the shows with GameStop and how they're just going head to head. So that 90 to 95 mark, dude, you guys are 100% right. Like, and it's the battle of these giants.
For context, though, I want to get, because a lot of the people may not have seen the content. The 90 to 95% mark, that is what you say you think you have to be paying to be competitive, correct? Or am I misreading that?
I'm saying that's the new narrative, and that's becoming the expectation it shows, because Arena Club and several other repackers, while before, and this is a big word, Gary and I actually do believe in free market and competition. I'm not saying that we need to regulate everything to death, because when the free market dies in this space, the liquidity moves and everybody moves on to the next thing where there's a chance to 10x whatever, right? But you had all of these people swooping in and buying at 90 to 95% when your repack cases were selling for 150 to 200%. Sure. Now that there is some level of expectation, what's on the checklist, what's happening here and there, you're seeing some of these people that bought with a smile, now they're stressed walking the show.
Really?
You can tell the last 10 dealers just told them to kick rocks because they can't even buy at 80, 85%. And there's this idea out there that on singles especially, which is where we make our money, that there's this world where collectors walk into a show and just snap up 100% buys. To which we say, you tell me where I can buy this at 90, show me where all the 100% buyers are, and then, let's talk about everybody paying 90
because Jason,
to 95%.
real quick, to that point, like, you talk...
That doesn't seem to be based in any kind of reality.
Yeah, because like Gary mentioned, like the content, and by the way, I think there's tons of crap content. That was a narrative going around for like the entire year. I feel like all the way up through the summer into National was like, yeah, I can't buy anything in my show because repackers come in, they buy everything at 95%, and by the time I walk the floor, it's gone. I do 4 or 5 shows a year, a fraction of what you guys do. I've never once gone to a show and be like, man, everything's gone. Like Saturday morning, I couldn't buy anything because the repackers had cleaned house. That did seem like the biggest farce going, but it was also a perfect way to villainize, like, oh, well, repackers are ruining this, then they're upcharging. That did seem like that was just a super inflated number to me.
I'll speak from my perspective, and I only do a handful of shows a year. On Thursdays and Fridays, people are going around other dealers and buying the best stuff for each other.
Sure, but that has happened since the beginning of time, and almost always it's dealers doing that. Jason comes and buys.
Point, when they're doing a show, for the general public, you can't pay 90 to 95% on everything that walks up to your table.
Listen,
Because
we don't pretend.
Friday aren't paying anywhere near that.
At the end of the day, so here's the two narratives compete with each other, and in our reality, we just kind of chuckle at it. This idea, people walk up to our table all the time and they show us their stuff. And one of the first questions I ask is, hey, where are you trying to be? Like, and if they tell me I need to be 85, 90%, I smile, I shake their hand, and I send them on their way.
And we'll point to somebody that pays stronger.
I can't make a living on 10% margins, because I'd say somewhere in the vicinity of 80% of what I sell, sells for somewhere between 85 and 92% of what market value is. Now, we sell to a few repackers.
Yeah.
But the repackers that we sell to are repackers. They don't come to us for case hits because we don't have them. We've even thought about having t-shirts made that say downtown suck. Like, we hate it. Like, we like the cool, interesting, unique stuff. So that's what we're known for and people come to us with. We also are the guys who will buy the weird stuff that nobody else will. So we get to take shots at that stuff. But the average dealer, if you're walking up to a table and a dealer's offering you 90%, or they have a sign up that says buying 90% plus, I promise you,
take it.
I promise you, they are finding the lowest comp they can find that's an outlier and paying you 90% of that and really buying it at about 70%.
Yeah. So I'm glad because, like I said, we hear that narrative. We've talked about it before, like the three of us. None of us have ever seen this impact where, like, you go to a show and repackers have cleaned it up. And also this world where everybody walks up to every table and everybody's buying for. I did this for a living, too, on the single side before we started yapping about it with the microphones. And I would just tell guys, like, hey, it's 70% if it's, like, cheap, hard to move crap. And if it's, like, nicer stuff, I'll pay 80. Like, that's kind of the range I had to be in. And so it was just like, all of a sudden, everybody's paying 95%. Yeah. And then repackers are redoing it for 150. I was like, this doesn't seem real. And I guess it was for a little bit, but it also, I
go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
No, keep going. I think it's a little like Gary. You don't ever just cut me off. Keep rolling. Oh, I promise.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, this is what people don't get, and I think Joe can speak to this. Before COVID, maybe the year and a half before COVID, it started to creep, but back in the day, consistently for 30 years, if you walked into a shop, they offered you 50%. If it was really nice, maybe 60%, maybe. And that was
Joe
the norm.
offers 20%.
And that was what everybody understood and expected.
And that's what we offer today.
Yeah, which is the only way you can make a living. That's the only way you can pay the bills. Sure. I don't understand what people don't get about that. Like, they don't walk into Walmart and go, "What was your cost from China on this? I'll give you 3% more." What are we talking about? Right?
Yeah. The other thing too.
What other collectible space are you walking in and getting these percentages on?
Well, the other thing too, I like you guys have actually said.
Where?
Like,
point me to
I've
it.
heard both.
Who else is paying this on collectibles?
Yeah, I've heard both of you say the same thing though. Like,
Art?
Hey, if you're paying more, go sell it to them. That is the other part of this. I don't, not to sound callous about it, but I do tell people like, hey, I'm fine. You don't want 80% on your like nice whatever. Just go sell it yourself. Either A, you're going to go to eBay and pay 12, 13, 14% or whatever. Yeah, do the work yourself. Or B, you're going to go set up at a card show, which, again, I am all for, by the way. I love you want to go into business and do it for yourself and make a higher percentage. Go nuts. I'm just telling you what I could pay. Like, that's another area I actually like you guys are pretty realistic about.
I heard it firsthand this past week at the shop right before Thanksgiving break here. A guy said, hey, you guys do seem a little low. And I said, well, yeah, compared to what? Because I asked you what you were looking for, and when you called in, I told you we bought at 50%. You still brought your stuff in here. And he said, well, I'm going to shoot you straight. He's like, by the time I do the 13% on eBay, and then I pay my $55 in overdraft charges because my bank account's negative, he's like, now I don't have anything. Like, he's like, but I can now take that cash that you're giving me, and I can move forward from there. That is the realistic, like, it's not everyone in the hobby, but somebody who's got a pretty sick card and they want to sell it, like, you're going to get 50%, and I'll even give you 60% in trade. Like, if you want to have at it again and go through the shop, but like, you're going to get 50% in cash, and then you can do what you need with. And like we always talk about too, this week, today's the first of the month. I'm telling you, this is the week of great collections. The first of the month, we always get the best collections come in.
Well, and I tell people,
I do want to know too, just about the added.
To Joe's point, one of the things that I tell people, Jason laughs at me when I do it because he knows what's going to come out of my mouth when the sentence starts. There doesn't exist a world
so scary
where I do all the work and you make all the money. Like that world doesn't exist. If you want to make all the money, more power to you. I'll help you. That's what our podcast is. We teach people how to do this. We give them, we're not Eric Michael.
We don't even sell it to you.
To you for $2,000.
For
like
free.
we just tell you.
Hey, easy. Don't
We
put,
just,
don't go.
can never
we
be
just
our
teach
leader.
people
How
how to
dare you.
do this. But you have to do the work. If you don't want to do the work, cool, I'll do the work, but I'm making the money.
We talk to people all the time that are newer into the hobby. They're not necessarily doing a business, and they get really frustrated because what we're saying right now, they literally cannot fathom. It sounds so greedy to them. It sounds so selfish to them. But what I'm concerned with, what Gary's concerned with is we have been benefited financially, no doubt, from putting some content out there, but because we're set up at shows on a regular basis. And what we've seen was a year and a half ago, a massive show boom nobody was expecting. On any given weekend in the
10,
state
12?
of Ohio, we have 5, 6, 7 shows. A couple of them will probably have 200-300 tables. Like, it is a very competitive space. And as that's happened, as excitement's happened, everybody wants to have a card business. And when the information they're receiving is 90 to 95% is reasonable because that's the only fair number, we have friends, family, people that have been dealing and been happy collectors for 10, 20 years that watch a downtown market take a 5% downturn and they lose thousands of dollars. Yeah. And where are those guys going to, Mike, Danny, Joe, anybody, tell me, where are they going to be in 2 years? Because it's not going to be at a show.
Yeah, I do worry because, like, again, this almost plays into a bigger piece, and we've talked about this before too. I think there's a huge separation in both realities. There are content dummies like us and everybody else with a microphone, and then there is this world where, like, everything that's a big, like I said last week, the Probstein thing is the biggest story we've had in the last year or two in content. Like, I think that's probably the most universally biggest thing, right? He's scum, he's trash. I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but I would also argue 85% of the people at a card show don't.
We could. We could.
And we can rehash it. But my point is, like, I would say for every 8 out of 10 people at a card show don't know anything about the situation and do not care. They don't consume content. They don't care about somebody shilling on an eBay or making their own stupid app. They don't know anything about it. I think there's this whole world that exists of card shows, and it's people who have been doing it forever, and it's still thriving. Because that's one thing you've not heard a lot about.
First section of the National. It's the guys in that first section.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I say, like, the Kaboom market went down this week. I'm like, I see some of these guys making the video, lost 80%. I'm like, I don't think anybody else bought it at that price anyways. Like, I think there's this whole reality that doesn't exist in the real
why
world.
is this happening, though, Mike? Why?
Well, I think there's people who live in the YouTube world and they live in the podcast world and they think that's the hobby. They think the bubble of what they're watching and what they're consuming is
Yes.
the hobby. No,
But I would also,
it's
Danny,
an algorithm.
and Danny, to your point, though, I would also argue, though, there's not a lot of other markets, collectibles, hobby, where there's not some sort of a consensus understanding of what's going on. Like, very few people just get into the stock market sitting at home without doing any research or reading widely published publications or watching, Kramer or whatever. Like, in a lot of other areas, like, I'm in the real estate market down here. I can tell you right now, if a section of Nashville dipped 40% in property value, everybody and their mother would know about it immediately, and there would be a rush. Or if there was a spike. Here, it's like trees fall in the woods all the time in the hobby, and nobody's in the hobby, and nobody's in the forest anyways. No one hears a thing. It is weird there's that much of a disconnect to me.
Well, I think
I
it's
straddle
because
that, which is why you guys make fun of me.
What's that, Danny? Say
I
that
said,
again.
I think I straddle that because you guys, because I get made fun of on a constant basis. I'm not a huge part of the social media part of the hobby, and that's a real weird thing because that part of the hobby, it does some great stuff, but it also overreacts to everything.
Everything.
And it's filtering through that I find the hardest part. How do you guys filter through the noise?
I think that you're bringing up a great point, Danny. There's a lot of that. And one of the things you said, I know we gave you a hard time about that, no negativity, but I was bored sitting on the couch with the AI app open, so I thought I'd have a little fun. But you brought up a point, and I think it's easy for me to go to the extreme of saying, oh, well, it's just this. You said something effective like, what difference is it actually going to make, right? And that struck a nerve with Mike, struck a nerve with me. I think you even last week, you said, hey, in regards to this particular issue, it needs to be talked about, right? So I'll give you your flowers there, Danny. But I do think it's really important that we realize in the last 3 months, it's not been a normal 3 months in the hobby. The fact that Dr. Beckett's interview is not the number one thing that we're talking about as far as the biggest thing that's happened, that's a lot. This consolidation, the SGC play with PSA, there's so many big things that do have actual real implications. And what scares me more than the P. Ryan, Dr. Beckett conversation was the casual nature of it and the clarity that there are some big whales that have been playing this game together for a long time, and you don't know who they are, and I don't know who they are. So I think the better filter for this, to answer your question 30 minutes later, is what impact does this story have? And if it actually probably has an impact on the ecosystem, collectability, whatever, it probably should be actually talked about. But you're right. Every release is not interesting. Every PSA update is not a big thing. Every extension of a turnaround time is not the biggest news in the world. But when these things happen,
well, and there's a danger of. Go ahead, Joe.
Jason, it's just like everything else in the world, not just hobby. If you have the money, you can silence the critics. And you saw it first and foremost on on Sports Cards Nonsense podcast when Mike had Boston Card Hunter on there. He used to cut loose on people, but now he's getting paid, and he's getting paid by the guys who have the money. And so they can kind of control that narrative. And that's the sad, honest truth is it skirts all the other people who do maybe have the facts and have the voice, but you're not going to get the clicks and you're not going to show up on people's timeline if you're not backed by the big boys. And that's the fact. And it sucks, but it's the truth. It really is the truth. There's a lot of stuff going on. And the fact that they are casual with that, it's terrible. But dude, they've been doing it forever. And the fact that you and Gary, myself, we don't dabble in the crazy high-end stuff. So yes, it will have an effect on us, but I don't think it's as big of an effect as these other jokers that are going after the big stuff. And I say this with peace and love to Mike, and I know he goes after big cards and whatnot, but if I'm him, I'm worried on some of his stuff because I know what he goes after, but I also know that Mike sells his stuff too, that he's smart and he's not a holder. So, the things that could possibly be crazy to go after is like the Bird and Magic rookie as he buys the higher and higher.
Sure. But dude, I'll tell you, Joe, real quick, let me interrupt you because I'll tell you right now. Yeah, sometimes I go after the big, insane stuff. I wouldn't go anywhere near a PSA 10 Bird Magic Dr. J right now because I don't know if I'm paying $350 like the last few comps I know were real, or if I'm paying $750 because a couple morons got together and said, "Well, we own a couple. Let's defensively and offensively and
is that $750,000?
Yeah, let's fondle each other with our bids. I wouldn't go near a card like that right now because that scares me. So again, I don't know that it has an effect on everybody, but I dabble in both worlds. Like I'm on eBay Live selling dollar cards, and I'll go to the show and you guys weren't there. Alex was with me, Joe's buddy. Crushed it with the $1 and $5 boxes, murdered it. It had a great time because everybody who came up and looked at those cards also has a personality. We talked, we had a good time. But I will also go to the extreme of, hey, I want to buy this, house priced card because I just want to have some monster pieces. I won't go near that stuff right now. I haven't even looked. There was a premiere auction this past weekend. I literally didn't even look at it because I thought, you know what? I don't know what's what. And I think that niche of the hobby is still small enough, the ultra high end, where a couple morons can get together and fondle each other and mess with pricing. So I won't go near it right now.
Well, and again, it's the entire thought process of trying to filter what's real. And to Joe's point, I do think that happens on the ultra high end way more than it does in the world that we live in. It's rare for either one of us to have a card in our showcases that's $5,000 or higher. That's rare for us. I had an MLB debut patch at one point over the last year or so. That's probably the biggest thing that sat in my showcase for a minute. We live in the world of that $1,500 to $100 range for the most part, with a good sprinkling of under $100 stuff. We sell to collectors, at least we try to. The idea that these giant cards, super cool, would love to own one. That's awesome. But where do you buy those? You're buying them at these auction houses. That's where they come available at. Now, the issue with that is, and for us, it's like you talk about buying cards on eBay, here and there. I can't buy a card on eBay because now I'm setting a comp that I have to fight against the next time somebody walks up to my table at a show. Like, I can't do that. I don't have that world. We don't live in a world where we buy a bunch of stuff on eBay and hold it for 6 months and hope it gets higher and then make our money.
Yeah, which I think is a smart play, by the way, because if you get into the prospecting game of any kind, hey, I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be good. Fine, like you bought him, now you're holding him. But if he's not, yeah, to your point, I think it's a much more beneficial game. To anybody listening who's trying to get into this game, you buy and you take your wins. Hey, I bought
Yes.
this lot. I could flip it all right now and make a little bit of percentage. I'm also all about like, hey, you want to hold a few guys? I've done this in the past, and I've never done good with it. But like Kyle Lewis was my first huge hold because this kid is hitting monsters for Seattle. He's going to be great, and now he has no ACLs. Kevin Durant rookies were my other huge hold. Ben Simmons was another big one for me.
Oh, Mike, I jumped right into you were pumping me up, man.
Oh.
You were selling me those KDs on your podcast. I was buying them up left and right, and I didn't sell a Black Border 9 with a $700
Is there
offer. I remember
is there a
turning that down.
less
Yeah.
likable top 10 player of all time?
I mean, him and LeBron. Like,
Joe, you like how you raised your hand and we just kept going?
I thought it was a mistake. I figured he didn't know what he was doing.
sorry.
Yeah,
I
and
was-
my latest great investment, by the way, Will Levis. But like Will Levis, I'm just holding. Will Levis is winning an MVP in this league.
I did get a Will Levis to Mike, by the way. I knew I was holding it to hand to him, is what I was doing.
That's
I was
correct.
holding that to hand
If
to
John the Cougar Mellencamp ever wins an Oscar, you're looking at a very rich man. See?
him.
Little
Absolutely.
Kevin
And
Malone line.
Gary,
The Office, not a big deal.
what I want to say to Gary about that is like, Gary, I kind of hate your take about that we sell to collectors. And why I hate that is because I think where we are in with the cards that we deal with the pretenders that think they're going to be in the business. And so there maybe is a small group that want to be collectors, but we deal with a lot of the people that are like, oh, I'm going to be the next flipper. I'm going to be the next king of cards. I'm going to be the next Talon, and I'm going to show it online, and I'm going to set up at shows to not sell any cards, to then show you that I bought a card that I didn't sell, that I sold, that I didn't sell, but now it's online, and now I have someone's grandma coming up and say that they love me. That's what I'm doing. But like I very rarely do I think we have real collectors. Even the sad part is the age demographic. I don't think kids are collectors. I don't think they know what it's like to be a collector. I think all they know is the sensationalization of seeing all this stuff and what the cards can be and what that looks like when it turns to dollars. And so when
many
they
of those
see they can buy a
kids-
$60 card, or many
Yeah,
of them,
so many of those kids that are running around these shows, they are off the books employees for other people. They are running around
Repackers.
Yep.
trying to buy at 80% at
Oh,
everything
really?
they can because they are going to take $5,000 worth of cards to a repacker at the end of the day and get 85% for them. And these are 10-year-olds.
You ever see the old Oliver Twist movie? You guys remember the old Oliver Twist, like with the musical?
Is that the loser who
where all
wanted
the
more
kids just
more
get sent out to
gruel?
pickpocket at the same time? It's kind of that vibe.
Really?
More,
I,
please.
said- I told this story before.
I'm trying to imagine the lecture that Danny gave that kid. Can you imagine that kid? Oh, Danny, I hope you gave him.
It was the eye I gave his father. It was the look I gave his father, which was, "Don't ever come near this table again, you spoiled bastard."
Whoa, look at Danny bringing the. All right, hey, I do have one other question for you guys too. While you're here, everybody can answer, but I am curious.
I like that.
We also hear a lot now about like, hey, everything, because Gary mentioned, hey, we sell to collectors. Joe, not so much. We hear a lot now of, and I think some of it is true, new stuff. Every year we have 30 new SKUs per sport. There's all the stuff coming out. Scarcity is manufactured more than it's actual. Who is actually buying these cards? I've been hearing this for years, but then I look and Drake May's silver prisms are still doing a huge amount of money. We know there'll be a ton of them. Enter whatever NBA Cooper Flag this year. His silver prism rookies are still going to do a ton of money. Do you worry that, hey, at some point the train stops with the new stuff? Or is the market just so much bigger than people realize because we just focus on a select piece of it that, hey, it's just going to keep rolling?
There's two sides to that, and I'll let Jason give his perspective on it here too. That type of stuff that you're talking about, like the non-numbered random color stuff, I'll buy it because I know I can sell it really fast but that's the only reason I buy it.
Yeah,
like
liquid.
what Joe was talking about earlier, when I say we sell to collectors, let me tell you some of the pieces that have gone through my showcase in the last 3 months. And this is the type of stuff that I carry. 2009 Upper Deck Black Tom Landry cut auto to 26. 1991 Pro Line Muhammad Ali auto, but it's the Cassius Clay that he only signed at the National. Stuff like that. That's the type of stuff that I put in my showcases. I carry, we carry the other
it's kind
stuff
of
too.
ultra modern liquid
it's not
too.
just that.
Let's
it's not just that.
This is not a museum,
But
right? We were paying bills, right?
Non-numbered stuff,
So-
the non-auto stuff. Move it fast, buy it, move it fast, strike while the thing about this business that a lot of people don't get, and it's why we do things the way we do, and I think the way you do things the way you do too, Joe. We've seen the ups and downs. We've seen the cycles. I've been around this for a long time. And we try to buy at a price point that if the market takes a 30 or 40% dip, I'm at least going to get my money back because I'm running a business. It's that simple. Jason, what's your take on what Mike's asking?
I think one of the biggest things to consider is in regards to your question, what will this direct-to-consumer approach from Fanatics do to that conversation? We're seeing it more and more accessible. One of the brand new Dick's Sporting Goods, I can't remember what they call it, but it's the
House
new
of
fancy
Sports.
super Walmart of Dick's Sporting Goods, right? They have, I live like Polaris's big mall area in Columbus, and I live pretty close. They have dropped in hobby boxes and stuff, like so much more product than I expected. So much more. The sentiment you see, if you hop on our interview that we did, we posted one clip. People are losing their minds when LCS owners are talking about their accessibility to product. Joe, quick question for you. You getting any of that jumbo chrome basketball this year?
Wasn't offered to me.
Dude, we didn't get offered any either, by the way. Yeah, Joe as an LCS, didn't he?
What about you, Mike?
None. Yeah, as a breaker, none.
That's
Really?
That's a really interesting. That's interesting. I haven't talked to a single LCS owner that's gotten it or has it coming in.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Well, so I think Fanatics is strategically placing this to get this wax in the direct to consumer. So I think to answer your question, what then happens to the singles market? If repacks consolidate to a point where you have one or two, and even one or two of those say, we've invested hundreds of millions into this. It's not quite returning what we expect. What happens then to that singles market? What happens to shows when dealers can no longer sell cards at 90 or 95% to repacks because there's just not that room there? So that's where I worry about some of that type of stuff, the silvers, the color, and all that. Do I think that with Topps Chrome coming back with the big three, that the chrome color stuff's going to pop off again? Yes. And people my age are pumped because that's an era that I will live in as
Absolutely.
long as they'll give us those products,
Golden
right?
age.
The early 2000s chrome refractor stuff. So I think there'll be a resurgence of that, but I am nervous. The direct-to-consumer approach, the LCS can't get as much product. Meanwhile, they're getting 6 cases of Dune Chrome. Go nuts, So
Yeah, I get
that worries me.
And I guess
That
the
worries
reason
me.
I brought it up too is because every year I've heard this. And by the way, I agree. Why would I go out and buy the Jaden Daniels Prism 10 Silver in his rookie year when it just came out and it's going for $2,000-$3,000 when now it's going $700? We know it's going to happen every year. It literally happened with Jackson Dart this year with a lot of his stuff. He came on, started, played decent, but it's right, but you know how this ends. It's I know the answer to the question, but every year it still does it. Every year, name any quarterback of the last 5 years who came up with any hype, look at the first number of sales for his NTRPA or his flawless RPA, and then look at them today. Even if they've played well, there are a handful of exceptions. And again, we're 1 year into this. Drake Maye is an exception. His stuff is actually selling higher now than any other time. Dude's won 10 straight, second in MVP. That is not the norm. But every other quarterback who's played great, Justin Herbert's had a very good career. I know he hasn't had postseason success. His stuff sells
No
for 20%
market at
of
all.
its high. Joe Burrow. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, so my question is, who are these buyers? Who is still going out and buying the big stuff out of
Here's
the
the
gate? I
thing.
don't understand it.
It's repackers, man. We talk about this all the time. The entire mid-range singles market, including downtowns, kabooms, that is an entirely propped up market. And it is being propped up by repackers who are selling not to collectors, but to gamblers. It's hilarious to us. I can't tell you how many times this has happened. I sell a card to a repacker on a Saturday. It's in their repack that night or the next day or two because these guys are churning through inventory. That card is hit by somebody reasonably local. They come back, they sell it to me the next Saturday at 80%, and I turn around and sell it to that exact same repacker later in the day for 95%. That happens all the time. These people aren't buying into these repacks because they want cards. It's a casino, man. At that level, it's a casino. Now, there are a few repackers out there that do it right, that are selling cool cards, that are doing things the right way. But so many of them, it is a freaking casino.
Well, and let me ask you. Go ahead, Dan. I'll ask. No, go, Dan. You go. Then I want to ask about the repack model one more time.
Well, that's what I was going to say also, is with the amount of slabs in the repacks, is the overabundance of grading being impacted by repackers as much as people are talking about? Because I think there's a huge amount that say, I have to grade it if I'm ever going to sell it. And the people that are buying it 90 and 95%, one thing slabbed mostly. People are getting stuff graded, I think, for resale. I don't think the mentality is you can resell raw like you used to.
I'm grading those cards because of the fear that if I do sell it on the world's largest card market, eBay, I'm fighting against an authenticator. I'm fighting against the person on the other side who sent it in super express and didn't get a 10, and they have 30 days to send it back, and eBay's going to side on the buyer even though I have a no return policy and it went through authentication, and they're still going to go into my account and take that money out, and I'm not going to get the card ultimately returned. Hopefully I do, but that's why I'm getting that card slabbed. And
so that's to Danny's point, Joe, right? Like, so you're saying you're doing it because at some point you're going to sell it,
not
and
as a
protection
repacker,
for you,
though. Not as a
resale.
repacker, Mike. Yes,
but
as
resale.
Someone who wants to resell for sure.
Sure.
But I think there's enough stuff out there that's why the repackers only deal with the slab stuff, and because they don't want to deal with any of the hiccup or the blowback on them, and they can actually get a decent comp for what they're selling if they're going to be one of those upstanding repack products where they're going to say this is valued at X. The only way you can do that is if you have a card that's graded, because the raw gives too much of a range. Here, my son pulled this weekend out of an absolute calendar, right? This card shows that it sells anywhere from $280 to $500, and he tore his ACL, and he's not even going to be back till next year. But you couldn't put a value like that. A $200 swing on a card is wild. Like,
yeah,
the only way that you can get that is getting it a 10 or 9, and
if you are a dealer, if you are a dealer and repackers are only interested in your raw case hits, you should begin to scratch your head. If you have a PSA 10 or a PSA 9 sitting right next to the raw, and every time they sell it, they say they're doing 95%, and you feel like there's meat on the bone, there is a reason that is happening. And Gary, I might get us in trouble. I will keep it as under wraps as I can, but there's a new game happening as well with these repacks. Now that Whatnot has some level of regulation, this is the first time ever we've been reached out to after purchases. We're talking about, what was it, about 10,000 in cards that we moved in one show? Reaching back out to try to get a few bucks back on cards that had comps above the amount that they offered. Established, large, and their whole thing is they're going to blame Whatnot because, well, if it's a $100 comp, but there's a $90 comp, it doesn't fit in that 100 and up price band. And but there are games happening right now. I'm telling you, that space is a little more fragile right now. It's going to, if PSA is going to begin circulating this and sourcing it for repackers, cool. That's going to take a little while for it to get ironed out. But there's definitely games happening there. And anybody that, you brought up that raw card with that range, I would just encourage anybody, if you see that happen, you consistently find a new buyer for those things.
Hey,
because there are people that
let me
will
ask
pay
you,
strong on that. That's an example of give me 9 or I'm going to grade it.
So Jason and Gary, let me ask you this question, and then I can kind of let it go on this. I also wonder, because I do think there's a huge portion of this. There's segments of the hobby, right? The ultra high end, I think, is a crazy niche. Way fewer buyers than people realize and can be easily manipulated. I think that next range down, though, the Kabooms, the Downtowns, the Color Blasts, the big prism silver color that people don't like me don't care about, but somebody is paying big money for. What happens over the next, I don't know. I mean, it starts in 5 months. What happens when Kabooms, Color Blast, Downtowns, Uptowns, Side Towns, whatever, all this other crap is no longer licensed and the values plummet? Like, it's just not going to come out of the gate worth anywhere near as much as it's been. That market has been hugely propped up. Does the market, like, does that thing just fall? Do we see people then clamor for old stuff, or do we see it, they go somewhere else? Because right now I think the Repackers by and large live in the basketball football world where those inserts are worth way more than anything in baseball. What happens when there's no more licensed inserts like that?
There's way too much money invested into what wax has become for there not to be a new shiny chase out of every Fanatics product. And if people have been smart, they've been putting a bunch of home field advantages away in a box like Gary and I have, hoping that that's one of the ones that pop. You have what is that? What's the?
Well, there's all aces and all kings,
what's that called?
which
All
are
kings.
bigger than
Kings.
cases. They're
All
like
aces,
one
all
every
kings,
3 or
yep.
4
All kings.
Like-
cases. Yeah.
Beautiful cards. Yeah.
Yep.
That's not going to change. It will be fun watching the people who were so convinced that the downtown market's not going to fade away. Now it's a timepiece of something that's not that rare.
So do you, Jason?
They aren't that rare. I mean, you guys were you saw trade night at the National.
So do you think it fades away though, Jason, or do we see what happened like with Upper Deck Exquisite and Upper Deck Ultimate Collection? As soon as it's gone, people go back to it like, man, I love that stuff. Now there's a premium. You think you think the Kabooms and the Downtowns get devalued in the next 5 years?
I think it's going to take a little while. Yeah.
Well, who grew,
I think
grew
it
up
takes a
loving
little.
this?
I think there's a little bit of devaluing early on because it's not the latest. Like, you have to think about the economic engine. There is so much more money being made off of the brand new case
Sure.
hit. That's why. Why are people buying it? Because they can sell it quickly within that first month. Because it is liquid. There's liquidity there. Whether there should be, whether mathematically it makes any sense, that is what's happening. So I cannot see a world where there isn't a new big shiny chase. And here's the other thing. Fanatics is onto something with the buyback program. Sure, it has its flaws. This is one of the things that I have said. Props to Fanatics. Super smart idea. You need more golden tickets every year than before.
Yeah.
You need some kid that opens a blaster to hit a massive card. Maybe they'll show their face on camera. Maybe they won't. But celebrate these things that happen when they happen. And I think by giving some opportunity for value, if everybody's wanting to chase something, put some more stuff in there that's worth it. MLB debut is a great example of that. So I don't think that the Kabooms go away. I think that there will be some of these fringe players that aren't relevant anymore. I think I see that market dropping off. There are going to be so many influencers that are so deep into 6 figures with their inventory that you will be told, hey, keep buying these. This market's not going anywhere. They aren't making these anymore. I can't tell you. That's my prediction. That's the line you're going to hear a million times. They aren't going to make these anymore, guys.
Yeah.
They're super rare. So it
Guys,
depends on if everybody believes it.
we know who Charlie Condon is, right?
Yeah, the stud,
Yeah.
stud prospect for the Rockies. He was.
Okay. So here's a prime example of what you're talking about, right? So this
that
is
the
an
Helix?
unlicensed case hit. This is a color blast.
Oh, that's pretty.
Charlie
Yep.
Condon. What do you think this card goes for?
$60.
$90.
No, it's
Yeah.
that's
an
about $100
unlicensed
would be my
case hit.
guess.
That's an unlicensed case hit of one of the top prospects in baseball right now, without no Bowman draft has come out, anything like that. That's a case hit of a top prospect in baseball, $90.
Yeah, but again, Joe,
Now,
to that
here's
point,
the-
that Prism box, because it's baseball and not licensed, only sells for $125 to $150, right? It's not going for $600 or $1,200 like football.
But here's the flip to that, Mike.
Right.
And this is to Joe's point though. The reason that I don't think that's $100 card because it's unlicensed. I think it's $100 card because it's Charlie freaking Condon, who broke his wrist and then came back and wasn't very good. Let's use Ohtani as an example, and let's use some of the other big names in baseball for the unlicensed products. First year home field advantages, 2022. I can go buy before the World Series, I could go buy an Ohtani for $90. Now they're like 150, 160. Do you know what the downtown from the same year does? It's like $850. Like,
I'm going to pull these up just to give you some perspective.
It's the name. So that's your 2025 or 2023. No, 2024. 2022 with Angels uniform, and then go look at the downtown. Like, there has to be a balance of that market, and I think that the unlicensed thing matters, but it only matters when it's the wrong names. So there you see, like, you got
The other
$60 best offer.
is looking at the Legends home field advantage.
Way
That's the
rarer.
other
They're
thing
like
that
one
people
every
don't
4 or
talk a
5
ton about.
cases. Yeah.
Those are sweet.
Yeah.
But you see that
Those
difference.
cards-
in
Hey, by the
value there,
way, just
Mike?
to your point,
it's
Gary,
massive.
and that's unlicensed. That's wild to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no
That's
clue.
why
I've never
Jason and I
actually
started
looked at
stacking the home
downtown
field
from open on it.
advantages a while back, because once that licensing shifts, as soon as I saw that Topps was calling the basketball stuff home court advantage and the football stuff eventually home field advantage too, it was like a Desmond Ritter downtown still does $100. I could buy Eloy Jimenez,
Right.
which is an equivalent baseball player, home field advantage for $6. It's got to get to 20 when that happens. Like, it just
Yeah.
made
Yeah,
sense.
agree.
So you see those value differences there between a licensed product and an unlicensed product. It is staggering because that market is not being held up by people collecting cards. That market is being held up by gamblers.
I bet you he's right.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I was trying to find Nick because, like, you brought up, what was the name of that? Was that the Color Blast you had, the Charlie Condone?
Yes.
Joe? I was trying to find like Nick Kurtz because, like, okay, Charlie got hurt. He's in a crappy market, but Kurtz is obviously like a stud. What's another unlicensed? Does he have it down? I don't think he has it.
Dylan
down.
Cruz, James Wood.
Yeah,
they
Dylan
have
Cruz,
Color Blast
who's
in
also
there.
really bad. Yeah, James Wood would probably be a good one.
Yeah. but
And to be fair,
Gary,
I
he's a
call
box
Dylan
boy,
Cruz
so-
bad. True. Yeah, I called Dylan Cruz bad before he ever took a major league at bat, so I'll tap myself a little bit on the back for that one.
Well, you
You
guys
also said Davis Mills was the second coming, so let's not let's not get too excited,
one
Gary.
heck of a neck on that guy.
Yeah, Peyton Manning-esque. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys being on. Like, I don't want to keep you all day. I did want to get the perspective because, like I said, I think it's interesting. Like, we have a little bit of variance here. Like, Danny's not super into, like, socials and staying up with stuff there. But he's at the show and he's on, which is true, Danny. I mean, he hasn't watched a TV show that came out post 1981. So, like, the Cosbys are going to rock
TV
you.
guides,
Dude,
though,
you're in
Mike.
for- you are in for a roller coaster. The Cosbys, you're going to discover that show. You're going to love it, and then in 20 years, you're going to find out about
Big
Bill.
fan of
And
the
it's going to ruin
host.
it.
Just not Bill.
Yeah, no problem. It's going to
Oh,
be a real
buddy.
up and down. It's going to be a real ride for you. Yeah, Joe, I mean, Joe works at the card shop, but Joe also takes in the most hobby content of the three of us, but also lives day to day at the card shop. And then I live my own little bubble of, whatever, privilege.
Scrooge,
So,
McDuck.
that's right. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, Joe's our favorite.
Oh, I could tell.
Joe's
Every
in-
question
Joe's
was,
in-
oh, yeah, so
Joe's in
Joe,
the
what
grind.
does Joe think? Oh, what does Joe?
No offense to you,
I'm
Joe.
surprised Joe didn't have a name written on that pink
Yeah.
fuzzy hat.
Akron
Let's ask an
born.
expert.
Akron born. Right here, baby.
God. Oh, one of the most overrated cities and
There we
countries,
go.
states in the world.
Were you cheering?
Oh, OH, baby.
I-O.
Come on, baby.
There we go.
I had to talk to these guys about college football because they don't understand what just happened yesterday is going to turn college football on its head when you give a college $25 million a year to spend on their entire roster.
And you don't understand that nobody who listens to the show cares about that. I understand I don't know college football. I'm saying nobody gives a crap what you're talking about, which is
So I
fine.
can I can understand and not care.
Yeah, maybe Danny can give us a breakdown of the 1960s Orioles starting freaking rotation and really walk us through the develop. Did you know CD players are not cool anymore? Like maybe Danny can give us a walk through history now.
Let me tell you right now. Let me tell you why you're going to
don't.
care. Okay, here's
Yeah.
a brief little history lesson here of how you guys would have never known about Jaden Daniels if he would have just stayed his butt at Arizona State. And
I didn't know
never
about Jaden
won
Daniels till he showed up in Washington, dude. No, I had no clue who he
won the
was.
Heisman. He won
Don't-
the Heisman.
And it doesn't matter. No one cares that he won the Heisman. They care that he came out and played great and was the next RG3 for Washington.
Dude, he was a top 3 pick.
Fantastic. You think I cared? No, not until he got drafted and he played well.
Oh my gosh, Mike.
Mitch Trubisky, you can tell me the fate of Mitch Trubisky, an awesome top 10 pick. This stupid argument.
Jason, Gary,
Yeah,
thank you.
the Ballcard Show, that's your socials everywhere, correct? That's where people can find you, listen
Yeah.
to you?
Yep.
Awesome. Hey, well, we
Appreciate
will
it.
have you back for sure, and then hopefully we have a deal moving forward here. We can get you guys over on the network, just making
Is that
content.
breaking
for us.
news, Mike?
No, I've been talking about them for a while. We're just backed up.
Wow.
We're trying to work in sponsors and other content guys.
Wow.
I think we need.
I wouldn't call it breaking news.
Yeah, Jason can't keep a secret. Jason's been yapping about it for months.
Maybe
by the
broken
way.
news.
Broken news. I would like to have them over here because I think they have a way different,
Oh, yeah.
a way different perspective than anybody else on the network, and they actually go after people, which I like. I think
I'm
it'd be a
still up in the air.
different show to add into the mix. So, That's my goal. By the first of the year, I hope we have him over here and doing
Danny
something.
up in the air is about as close to a yes as you can get. I've learned that in 1 hour of conversation, so I'll take it.
You mean Danny the content czar. That's correct. All right, Jason, Gary, appreciate it, fellas. We'll catch up with you soon. All right, there you go. Yeah, like I said, I like the perspective. I just think it's cool to get different people on here. And I think those two, as much as anybody, they're not a big microphone yet. I think they would tell you that. I hope they do. Like, I hope they continue to grow, because I think it'd be cool to see somebody... I think it'd be cool to see somebody become a big microphone in the space that has not done it based on influencing and other crap or these $1 million deals. Just like a day-to-day... Like, honestly, this is not meant as an insult. Like, the blue-collar type show... I think it'd be cool for one of those to really take off. So
Yeah, kind of like our show. So
Yeah,
that's...
well, 2 out of 3.
well, no, you ride my white-collar rich coattails anywhere you can. So
Gosh, I love it.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
crazy that you're already trying to cut the show. I know we've been an hour, but like it seems like it's been 5 minutes, and this is
Because
the
we
only
wasted all
time
that
we
time
get
talking
to-
about Lane freaking Kiffin. So
we get to
That's fine.
spend with you too.
yeah, but no, I do. I think by early January, I'm hoping we have those guys over here doing a weekly show for us and just kind of interacting.
And they
Mike?
can do good graphics.
Danny,
Yeah, and they can
before
do
we
just-
go, quick question. Tonight, I know that everyone's going to see this on Wednesday, so it's going to be an old take. Tell me what your take is for the game tonight. I want to know what you think Drake Maye will have statistically, and I want to know what the score outcome is from both of you. Mike, go ahead.
No, Danny, go first, because Danny's going to be influenced by me because he doesn't even know who Drake Maye is. So.
No, I apologize. I know Dart was cleared. He is starting.
Oh yeah, is Dart
Was that a
cleared?
statement or a question?
was a
Yeah, that is a
question.
question. I actually have not seen the update. Is he good to go?
Yeah.
Yes, he's good to go.
Jackson Dart is good to go. I think the line,
Thank you, Rebecca.
It's a touchdown was the line, I thought.
yeah, like 7.5. The over/under is 46.5.
I like New England to try to go short early because of the offensive line. If they can block May, I think they just need to play their game. If Joe's right and there's offensive line problems, then they're going to have to try to run the ball and throw out in the flat.
Okay, so what's the prediction? Just so we're all on the same page. here?
I'm taking the Pats either way, but I think if their offensive line holds up, they're going to cover.
Okay, if it doesn't, they're not gonna. So like, what's the actual prediction? Is what I'm saying, Danny.
Okay, I'll take them to cover. Yeah, I'll take them 24-10.
24-10, and what is Drake Maye?
Drake May, I'll have at
And then we're wrapping this thing up.
250 and 2-1.
Okay, I like it. I am gonna go. I'm going 16-7 Patriots. I think Drake Maye is gonna have his worst game of the season. I'm gonna go 60% completion, 185 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. There you go. Joseph, you want to weigh in here, Mr. Freaking
Sure.
Guru?
Yeah, I'll give you right now. It's going to be 9-3, the Patriots.
I don't hate that. Yeah.
It's 9-3, Patriots. The leading, so Drake Maye is going to have 94 yards passing, 1 interception, and Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson carry the load with almost 75 yards apiece. But this is going to be a defensive battle. I think both defenses, my hot take, both defenses have 4+ sacks.
Yeah, I mean, the Pats are going to get... The offensive line terrifies me with the Patriots. It's the entire left side. It's not just Campbell who made all the news. Is the other guy... Oh, I think it's Wilson is the other one. The left tackle...
Guard.
Oh, left guard.
Yep.
Campbell's the tackle, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, so their left side of their line is gone. That is
Correct.
why I was very clear about this. And I hope I'm wrong too, because if I'm wrong, then I'm right about Drake Maye. So I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think it's a bad... As long as you can win the game. He can have a statistical terrible game, and I don't think it matters much. If you can win your 10th straight, I think that's the biggest headline coming out. So...
Like Bo Nix.
Yeah, Bo Nix was... I mean, again, I watched most of that game. I thought Bo Nix was pretty good. He wasn't great last night, but he did enough to win at least. So, yeah. All right, well, there you go. Hopefully by Wednesday we'll have an answer to this. Hopefully the game.
Oh, and I know you got to go real quick, but you were asking about this last week. Here's another prime example. How beautiful is this? A top Stafford card to $199, and there's no love. People don't know about these cards. It's crazy.
What is that? Old Topps Chrome?
Yeah, and look at a little Bowman Chrome.
That's
rookie.
Bowman Chrome back in the day. Yeah, the ugly green border on those. I remember
Nothing.
Bowman Chrome. Yeah. Well,
Sorry,
Stafford
man.
they did not play that great either. First interception since like week 3 or something ridiculous. That's the other interesting thing. If Drake Maye does, I don't think he will, but if he goes off tonight, he's probably back tied with Stafford for the MVP lead. Like that thing's going to go back and forth. And Stafford played bad and they got beat. If Drake Maye now wins a game and they have the outright best record in all of football, not the worst thing. So we'll see. That's Cut the Nonsense. We'll be back. Maybe we'll do a live show next week. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll be back either way. Goodbye.